Welcome back, everybody. It's Beeves. I'm coming at you today with a little nugget of advice that I just really figured out for myself earlier this week. That advice is about plateaus in climbing progression for beginner and intermediate climbers. I'm not talking about the advanced level where you really need to be doing hangboard, finger strength training. This is more of when you're at my level, which is more casual climbing, 510s and under, B2 and under, that kind of level. If you are feeling like you want to be progressing and learning new skills, but it just feels like every single time you go to the climbing gym, when you go to the bouldering gym, when you go outside, you just keep hitting the same projects over and over. And it can be really hard when you keep going to the same place, you're going to the same crag, or if your gym isn't resetting the routes as often as you might like, and then you just keep climbing the same stuff over and over. It can get a little boring, it can get a little stale, and it can feel like, especially when you're putting in a lot of time and effort on a project, if you're not making as much progress on it as you want to, it can start to feel really frustrating. And I know for me, I start to get a little down on myself when that happens too. We went to our local crag 3 times in a month's time span. And this was when I first started really getting more into lead climbing and outdoor climbing. So it was all very new to me. And there was a 5/8 there that I had climbed on top rope a couple of times. And it was just so hard, and I decided I wanted to try to lead it, and I took a really big fall, and then I got back on it on top rope, and I just felt really frustrated in my head, and I had been working on that same one for 3 weeks in a row, and still felt like it was so hard for me. And I have decided if I go back to that crag, go to a different area and not work on that one for a while, because what I have found, my climbing partner and I, when we first decided that we were going to lead, we really wanted to make it a point to incorporate it into our routine more. But the problem was we're leading projects at a maximum 510A, 5'9" level, and that's not our max effort. We're really only doing things that we're not falling on, and that is a different issue that is going to be addressed in a different video. We're going to be working with a friend of ours who has a lot of climbing experience to get over that fear of falling and really start working on projects that we know we're going to fall on, because if we don't get over that fear, then we're not going to be progressing. And last week when I did my bouldering video, which is on delay right now, I think I might start next week, the official week 1. Last week was my test week, and I think I'm going to start next week on the 30 days of bouldering. But that was when I actually injured myself, and so I injured my arm, and then also around the same time, my climbing partner had an elbow injury and went to the doctor. And on Monday, when we went to the gym, instead of doing lead climbing like we initially planned, since she said she was still worried about her elbow, we went up to the auto belay section. And we haven't done this in a couple of months. First of all, auto belays were so terrifying for me for the first year that I climbed. I didn't start really working in there until this year, and even then I was not completing 5'9s and just really having a hard time getting out of my head, because the problems in there, they're shorter but they're stouter and they have some harder movement, and I don't have the ability to just hang on the rope and work through it. I have to send it fully. I've been feeling really stagnant in my progress. I've just been feeling bored by everything that's in the main room downstairs. And number one, when I went bouldering last week, having not bouldered in a really long time, I was really impressed with what I was able to do. If you watched that other video, the fact that I was so brave and able to just top things on the first try, some of those moves I was doing were really scary for me. So I was really impressed with myself for that. And then when we went to go do auto belays, I was hopping on 510s. I hopped on several climbs that I really didn't think I was going to feel comfortable on, and I even got on a 511 minus and made it almost halfway up the climb. I was really impressed with what I was able to do, and Morgan and I were talking about it, and we came to the conclusion that when we do the same thing over and over, we're not really progressing. I think we're going to try to make it a point in our training to make sure that we are incorporating different things into our routine to avoid that stagnation, to avoid that boredom, and to ultimately avoid the disappointment that comes with working on the same thing over and over without making any progress on it. If you're out there and you're feeling stagnant in your climbing progress, switch it up. Try to do something different. I realized that I am progressing. I am becoming a stronger climber. It just wasn't immediately apparent because I was working on skills that felt a lot harder to me. Lead climbing is a lot harder. And then when I would hop back on the 510 plus, 511 minus climbs on top rope, I maybe wouldn't be climbing them as hard as I thought I would before I started lead climbing. And then I would get down on myself. Oh, my endurance is down. My technique sucks because all I've been doing is lead climbing. No, it's just about putting yourself in different environments and not just doing the same thing over and over, because that's just a surefire way to be disappointed. I hope this helped any beginner, intermediate climbers out there who might feel like they're experiencing a plateau right now, realize that you might benefit from switching it up. So I would highly recommend giving it a try, and let me know what your experiences have been with plateaus and how you got out of them. But this is just one way that I've figured out that I can get myself out of feeling a little stagnant in climbing, and I'm looking forward to using that skill more in the future. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you're looking forward to seeing my 30 days of bouldering progress, along with the following practice video that I talked about, and lots of other adventures to come. I'm going to be going backpacking for the first time in November, so that's going to be a video that'll be coming up, and I'm really excited about progressing in climbing and sharing that with you all, and sharing with you all my other adventures that I end up going on, and all the things that I do that are all about conquering fear and becoming braver as a person.